Right, so this is the Gcor Gen.3 Season 3 award ceremony, and there will be some interviews after the awards are handed out, so we can look forward to that. So for the first award, it will be Rookie of the Season, and unfortunately no one who won it is here at the moment. So in second was Walter with 1 vote, and then Fuse Coolboy with 7 votes. So congratulations to Fuse, but fortunately isn't here. So we'll move on to Most Improved of the Season. So this one's interesting. So in third place, it's a tie between Charlie and Ollie Freeman with 1 vote. Second place is Hurricane with 2 votes, and in first place is Cyrax with 3 votes. So I'd like to ask Ollie, what do you think about that, with how that was dealt with? Do you think that...
I think that's fair enough. I mean, well, apart from Hurricane, who only really won races because nobody turned up, but yeah, I think Cyrax deserved that. He has improved a lot. He went, sort of middle of the pack to being able to win races and that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's fair enough.
Matt, what do you think of that, since he is your driver now? Are you proud of him, or do you think he has more to achieve? Or?
Obviously, I'm immensely proud of Cyrax. Happy to say he's now an Alpine driver taking my seat. And the pace he's shown improving over the last couple of years has been frankly quite incredible.
Yep. Sidkofa, so you were supposed to be teammates with Cyrax this season. Are you disappointed that he's left you for Alpine, that you have to be... Can he be teammates with him for the season, or is it not something you're really bothered about?
I'm not really bothered about it, if I'm being honest. I'm going to just do my own thing.
Yeah. Right, so we'll move on to the next one, which will be Team of the Season. Sorry for the quickness, but... so for Team of the Season, in third place with 1 vote is Ferrari. I can tell who's voted for that. Then in second place is Mercedes with 2 votes. And then in a dominant fashion, first place was Alpine with 5 votes. So I'd like to ask Matt, what do you think of that?
I mean, firstly, I want to say thank you to everyone that voted for Alpine. We are very happy. Firstly, with this award, and secondly, with the constructors finally toppling the dominant GN7 team in remarkable style. And what else is there to add to that?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Repeat it again next year.
Chaconas, what do you think? Do you think they deserved it, or do you think that your Mercedes team deserved it more?
Yeah, no, totally. Alpine, they've done a brilliant job this season. I think seeing where they've come through, the last couple of seasons to now finally, becoming Constructors World Champions is amazing. They've done a brilliant job. All credit to, obviously Midget Matt for leading that team and picking not only the right teammate, but the right reserve drivers also.
Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted.
Credit also to Hurricane. Credit to Hurricane for obviously being, I guess you could say, the number 1 driver in the team, and even Cyrax. He did a good job. He got his first race win in Alpine, and that Alpine team, they've gone from being, top of a midfield team to winning constructors. So congrats to them. Hopefully next season we'll come back stronger though. So
yeah. Matt, on to that, this is an interesting topic. So you are obviously a manager or owner of Alpine. How do you go into this seat being that Mercedes is not second driver, but I don't know what's going on there, but you're still a driver for them. So how is it going to affect you managing Alpine, yet being a rival of them at Mercedes? Do you have to have any bias towards that? Or?
I want to believe I'm going to have no bias in it. Going from Alpine, who I've just won the Constructors with, to GN7, who I want to win the Constructors with next year. And I don't think I'm going to be challenging for the drivers year 1. But you never know. Got to set your hopes high.
Okay.
But hopefully there'll be no conflict of interest. My first priority is obviously myself with GN7. But I do still have to make sure everything at Alpine is running smoothly and the drivers are performing to what they should be for that team.
Yeah, okay. Is there any more questions? Just thinking. No, I don't think there is. We'll move on to the biggest, I'd say, biggest award of them all now is Best Driver of the Season. So, in third place, it is a tie between Ollie and Fuse Coolboy. I want to ask Ollie, is that something you're proud of to get tied third place, even though you only raced for the second part of the season?
Yeah, I'm glad. That was pretty good in this. But yeah.
Yeah,
Fuse is a pretty good driver as well, so I'm glad I've tied with him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not much else to say, really.
Then second place is Hurricane. Matt, are you disappointed in his shortcomings in the championship, or was this expected of him to struggle?
I think the back half of the season, we've always seen the GN7 team were going to have the fastest car. Well, I think at the end of the day, we should have been winning both championships with the lead we had in the last 3 races. But we fell short in the strategy department, which is something that Hurricane and Alpine won't want to do again next year because there'll be 2 Mercedes gunning for him.
Was his struggle in the final part of the season, where he failed to take the championship, any reason to leave Alpine for Mercedes, or was it completely different motives?
Completely different motives. The decision was made long before the end of the season.
Okay. Then on to the winner by 4 votes, taking it out dominantly is Jaconas. So, what do you think of that, Jaconas?
Well, first of all, thanks to everyone who voted me. You know, it means a lot. Last season, obviously, I tied this category with Dino Bambino. Both had 5 votes. So this time it's nice winning it, I guess you could say. But really, this is like the tip of the iceberg. You know, winning the World Championship was something special. Obviously, we didn't really expect that. And obviously, as you heard in the interviews as well, I wasn't really, I didn't have high hopes. I literally said I'm out of this championship fight. I think going into Singapore, going into Canada around that time. So yeah, really, I just continued turning up to races. Well, I say turning up to races. I did 2 less races than Hurricane, but I just continued doing where I feel like I do best, and thank God it worked this season. Next season, whether the same tactic will work, I'm not quite sure. But anyway, that's from next season. So yeah.
How do you think your attendance is going to look into next season? As obviously you struggled this season with holidays and that.
What, mine personally or the grid?
Yeah, your attendance.
I think next season, God willing, it should look very good. Hopefully we can go back to immaculate attendance as we did the last 2 seasons before this one. But I think next season, also the fact that it's going to be a closer season as well. Obviously Fuse Coolboy is looking quick. Walter, he's looking quick. And that's not even bring up names such as Ollie Freeman, Hurricane, Matt, Sid Kofa, all these type of guys who are quick. So I think next season the championship is going to be much more competitive. So I've literally really got to turn up to every race, and not only turn up physically, but also turn up with the car as well. Some races this season, I didn't really have the pace, but I managed to get good points because I was lucky, really. So, but we'll see.
Would you say what put you in front of Hurricane this season was just experience in general, or what do you put it down to?
Yeah, I think experience plays a massive part. This was Hurricane's first ever title fight, actually. Obviously, I'd been in how many title fights? Like 5 title fights before this. This was like my 6th. Yeah, this was my 6th title fight. 5 of them I've won. I've lost one. I've lost one of them. So experience played a massive role. I think some tracks, such as like Portimao, Austria, where we had the pace. Well, not the pace to win, but we had decent pace, and Hurricane didn't really have that pace. So I think that was quite crucial. But Hurricane's improved. This was his first title fight. I'm sure there'll be many more. And yeah, we move on to next season, I guess.
And lastly, final question for you. Looking back at the season, what do you think was your biggest weakness in it?
Biggest weakness? I'd say my understanding of the car. I know I've won the World Championship and stuff, but honestly speaking, I didn't really understand the car fully. I'm still trying to get to terms with how the traction worked. Obviously these cars, they've got more traction than the cars from the previous, like the F122 model. But I feel like everyone's caught up to us, and we've kind of stood still. Not at none of the races this season, I can say I was out and out quickest. Even the races I won at Brazil, Multi 21 helped me, so Ollie couldn't get past. At Coda, I guess you could say Coda, I was quick, but Dino, he had a bad starting position because of the sprint race. So I think general pace and general understanding of the car was our weakest point. But hopefully next season we can understand the car a little bit more, get a few more developments, and really challenge, throw a great challenge.
Now on to Sidkofa, since we've had some hints of some news coming. You've just had your teammate Cyrax replaced with Noah, and you are publicly very annoyed by the information and hinted at you moving back to Red Bull. What is it about Noah that's made you so hesitant to be his teammate?
Nothing's bad about Noah. He's a good driver. You probably will have really good attendance, and I think we do good. But me personally, when I was doing testing with the Aston, it didn't feel at home. I feel at home in my Red Bull. Everything's made for me. But in an Aston and another team, it just felt no, I couldn't get the maximum of what I could usually get.
And in the previous seasons, you have spoken very publicly about wanting to go for a championship and that. Do you still think it's on the cards to win a championship in the foreseeable future? Or?
I mean, obviously, everyone wants a championship, but I'll put my perspective in the thought, because if I'm being honest, I've spent a lot of time away. I don't think I'll be able to get back up in the pace, but sometimes there's miracles Chaconas, who was pre-season looking pretty slow, and then all of a sudden gets a world championship. So maybe Lady Luck might help us.
Have you had any looks at any drivers to sign to your Red Bull team, as they don't currently have any lined up for the roster as of now?
So if there is no if I don't get anyone, then I will probably be making that transfer just so I have one person to my team. But I've been looking at a couple, so I just gotta see, who fits the best in terms of who I'd like as a driver.
And lastly, at Canada, was that race you were given a season ban, I believe, a half a season ban. How do you think you're going to return and integrate yourself back into the grid and not be hated as much for doing something like that?
For me personally, obviously Canada and majority of the first part of the season, I was getting very upset. But I mean, I've moved on as a person. I've mellowed out, saying I don't think I'll be doing anything stupid like that. I'll more so just accept what comes to me. Not really be oh, this is stupid.
Now, Ollie, so do you trust Sidco for returning to the Gcor grid to not make any risky, dodgy moves, or do you think he can be clean again?
No, I don't. I think he's a rubbish driver. I think he should stay away from racing altogether. That's it.
Heavy words, heavy words. Same for you, Matt. Do you trust him enough? Or?
Could you repeat the question? I was minorly distracted.
Do you think you can trust Sidkofa to return to the grid and be clean and not make any dodgy moves and get into trouble like he was previously?
I mean, I've never had any issues with Sidkofa. The team has. So, as long as he can prove to everyone that in the first couple of races that he comes back, that he can be clean and the fast driver that he was, then I think nobody's going to have any issues with him.
In the foreseeable future, if he does perform well at Hurricanes team Aston Martin, do you think it is possible for him to make a move to Alpine, provided he does do well? Or
nothing's impossible in Formula One, but for now I've got two drivers that I'm very happy with in my team.
Okay. And now on to Ollie. Ollie, this season you had the most points out of anyone in the second part of the season. Do you know what's behind this random what's it called? Gain in pace. Do you know what's behind him? Growth or?
I think maybe I might have adapted to the new cars better. Maybe I've put a lot of effort into trying to be quick as well, with like working on the simulator in that. Yeah, that's it. And also, this is like, was it my third season? So like the first 2 seasons, I'm sort of just like getting a hang of racing in that. So this is properly, I'm getting there, getting to where I'm reaching my potential.
Yeah. So you're now teammates with Walter at McLaren. How do you think the new driver will do? Obviously, he got a podium in his first race. Do you think that he can live up to the standards of having you as a teammate, or?
I think so. Yeah, it's going to be hard to beat him. He's got a lot of pace. I definitely think he could be easily in the top 5, maybe even going for the championship. So got to see
Do
what
you
he's like.
think that your experience may give you the upper hand against him, or will we just have to watch and see?
I reckon so. In Brazil, he made quite a few mistakes. I think he spun like twice or something. So I'm sure he's going to make more mistakes like that. But yeah, got to see what happens.
Now on to this. What were the real motives behind you leaving Mercedes? Obviously, because it's a pretty shock move. I mean, you and Chaconas have been teammates for a while now.
Yeah, well, I just wanted a new team because I know that next season we're going to be like competing with each other for the championship probably. So I don't think it's right if I was in the same team with him. So
is that in your sights then, winning the constructors or the drivers' championship next season? Then is that what you want to do?
Yeah, definitely winning the drivers, and I think constructors is going to be possible as well with Walter. So
how is your relationship with Chaconas after leaving Mercedes? Has it degraded a little bit, or is it still good buddies?
well, it's not necessarily got better because I've had to sacrifice a few races for him, like in Brazil, which I would have easily won if he let me pass, but I had to wait behind him, stuff. But I'm still good friends with him. We still like each other, so we still have mutual respect for each other. So yeah, that's it really. Yeah.
Now on to Matt. Matt, do you obviously Hurricane, after what looked to be his best season ever, do you feel any remorse for him losing out on the championship?
I mean, I'm always going to feel remorse for a teammate that misses out on the championship. I mean, obviously, my good friend Konas went on and won it, but it would have been such a nice feeling to leave Alpine as having your teammate as the Drivers' World Champion and winning the Constructors' World Championship as well.
Yeah. So how do you think your attendance is going to look for this season, as you only joined back halfway through the season before? Do you think it's going to be clean slate as always, or?
I'm aiming for 100%, but I might miss 1 or 2 in the run up to Christmas. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
In the second part of the season, when you returned to Gcor last season, you only managed 2 podiums. Do you feel you have to raise your level to keep up with Chaconas this season, or?
I don't think I don't have to raise my race pace level. I think my qualifying let me down a lot last year, and obviously I came back from holiday, and the first thing I did was bought the F1 game with this model of cars, and I think 2 days later we were racing in Kota. So I came into this season with no preparation compared to all the other drivers. So hopefully now I know what sort of pace I'm up to, that I can be challenging for more wins and more podiums.
And it is possible that the move to Mercedes was in the making last season. Did that halt your efforts to try help Hurricane win the championship, as you knew you're going to be joining Chaconas as a teammate next season, or were you focused on fully helping Alpine as a team?
I was focused on fully helping Alpine as a team. I always was when I was there, even though I always wanted that move to Mercedes. But I spent my whole time at Alpine helping the team, as it is the team that I own. And I always wanted the best for them, and I always said I wanted to leave with both championships, whether I won them or whether my teammate did.
Also, in the second half of the season, Cyrac seemed to struggle with his performance, only averaging 6. I think it was 6.5 every race. Is that something that worries you, or are you focusing mainly on the first half of the season, the success he had?
I mean, I'm focusing on the first half of the season because obviously he got stepped down into the junior team for the second half to make way for me to come back into the team. So hopefully in the Alpine he can have a better second half of the season and improve on that.
Do you think you working as a teammate with Hurricane would make you a better teammate towards the Konas if you're going to help him win the title race over Hurricane, or are you completely going for the title yourself? You're not focusing to be a second driver?
I mean, let's just say if I turn up next season and I've got the pace to think that I can challenge for this title, I will be going for it. If it's close between me and Chaconas, I think it will vary who gets the better strategy and calls day to day and track to track. And if Chaconas has the outright pace, then I'm going to play the number 2 role.
Okay. On to Ollie. So, are you disappointed that Mercedes didn't try enough to keep you out there? Or not really bothered about it?
Well, I'm not really bothered because I wanted to leave anyway. So, I don't really care if they wanted me to stay.
Yeah.
I mean, I know. Chick was surprised. He obviously wanted me to stay, but yeah, he wanted to go to a better team in it. So